In my previous segment, I talked about how there are many police officers in many jurisdictions arresting people for not wearing masks or not socially distancing and things like that. And I believe these officers are running the risk of losing support from people like me, moderate individuals, and many conservatives who think it's ridiculous a guy singing a song outside would be arrested. But now we can see why defunding the police is wrong as well. You see, there is a moderate position on this. How about that? Defunding the police clearly backfired. New York City Police Commissioner blames $1 billion cut to the NYPD's budget for recent surge in crime that has seen a 166% spike in shootings from last year. Yeah, and guess what? Over in Minneapolis, they failed to abolish their police department. How a pledge to dismantle the Minneapolis police collapsed when the majority of city council members promised to end policing as we know it after George Floyd's killing. They became a case study in how idealistic calls for structural change can falter. Well, they couldn't get it done in Minneapolis, but I'll tell you, all you got to do is sprinkle in a little bit of these cops arresting churchgoers and worshipers out publicly, outside, not wearing a mask, and they'll get the support they need finally. It won't be for completely dismantling or abolishing the police, but it'll certainly see all these officers fired. Well, let's see what's happening in New York. Shea, the commissioner, Dermot Shea, said the budget cuts, which were voted on by the New York City Council back in July, had a significant impact on the crime surge over the summer. You think back, crime follows certain patterns and trends. Certainly, we see upticks of violence in the summer. Upticks of violence. To have this crazy time happen this year, certainly, and leading to a defunding, it's really hurt, Shea told Fox Business's Maria Bartiromo. This defunding movement at a time when we know crime generally takes an upward trajectory in the summer has been a double whammy. 60% cut in overtime is going to damage any industry. It's certainly hitting us. It's hurt, unfortunately, the people in high crime areas that, unfortunately, more often than not, tend to be people of color the most. The $1 billion budget cut resulted in policing funds being reallocated to education and social services over the next year. I understand the sentiment. The problem is the education system is broken and it's not teaching people how to actually function. So when you have violent crime and now you have more victims of violent crime, you have criminals being emboldened. When those criminals are emboldened, they teach other people that crime pays and you don't go to jail, and thus you get more crime. Then you'll have young people and they'll see a system that says, if you want to get ahead, commit a crime. And this is what happens in Chicago. I don't know what the exact solution is. It's a cultural problem. But think about it this way. If you got some dude walking around with, a fancy new iWatch and the fancy new cell phone, he's got clean, pretty clothes and cool looking sneakers, there's going to be a young person who says, how did you get that? And he says, easy, crime. It's that simple. And that little kid, that young person is going to be like, okay, no penalty for it. What happens if that kid sees a dude walking around in ratty old clothes who can't get a job? And the guy says, I can't get a job anywhere and make it work. The kid says, why not? I went to prison. I'm a felon. It's terrible. Now you might get people saying that's not fair. The system is broke. And hence, prison reform, criminal justice reform may be the actual answer, not stripping away police, because you can still arrest people and you can still rehabilitate them. And then when they get out and they're looking good and they got cool new things and the kid says, how do you do so well? And he says, well, you know what, man, I went through some tough times, went to jail, but that wasn't the answer. I got out, got a job, made some cash. Check this out. You need people to inspire young people with the right way to do things. If people feel like there's no way out, then they'll say, why not? Who cares? And if people feel like there's an easy way out, they'll say, why not? Who cares? It's a tough problem, I got to admit. Defunding the police is the simple solution in their minds, but it doesn't always mean it's the correct solution. Look at this. In August, New York tallied 242 shootings compared with 91 in the same month the previous year. That's a 166% spike. Quote, both on the police side and the detective side, they are singularly focused on getting our arms around this. We are beginning to trend downwards. We have a lot of work to do, he said. Police also said murders went up 34% on year in the first 8 months of 2020. It comes as Governor Andrew Cuomo called on city officials to step up and lead in response to rising crime. I love it. You need to step up and rise. The rising crime must be stopped, they say, as they strip the police of their ability to do their jobs. So what's the solution to this, man? No, and I'm really looking for answers because I don't think I'm smart enough. If I think reform is a good answer. I think we need cops to uphold their oaths to the Constitution, assuming they've taken one. Otherwise, you'll end up with innocent people for getting arrested and fined for stupid things like singing outside. And you'll get violent criminals getting away with crimes because that's what's being targeted. I'll put it this way. If you get rid of the anti-crime unit and then you have beat cops, no one's stopping the people walking around committing crimes, but there are beat cops walking around charging and arresting people who are singing songs and violating social distancing. That will not work. Take a look at what's going on over in Minneapolis. It was an idealistic move. They say over 3 months ago, a majority of the Minneapolis City Council pledged to defund the city's police department, making a powerful statement that reverberated across the country. It shook up Capitol Hill and the presidential and the presidential race, shocked residents, delighted activists, and changed the trajectory of efforts to overhaul the police during a crucial window of tumult and political opportunity. Now some council members would like a do-over. Councillor Andrew Johnson, one of the 9 members who supported the pledge in June, said in an interview that he meant the words in spirit. Oh, man, I love it. Not by the letter. Another councillor, Felipe Cunningham, said that the language in the pledge was up for interpretation and that even among council members soon after the promise was made, it was very clear that most of us had interpreted the language differently. Lisa Bender, the council president, paused for 16 seconds when asked if the council's statement had led to uncertainty at a pivotal moment for the city. I think our pledge created confusion in the community and in our wards. No, what really happened is these morons are getting their cues from Twitter. And then when regular people revolted, they panicked and said, I just meant it in spirit, not literally. It's time for all this to end. The lockdowns, the science has now shown us the mortality rate is very, very low. We'll protect the vulnerable. We'll get back to work. And this defund nonsense needs to stop. We cannot have cops not arresting rioters and arresting people for singing songs. We can't have zealous politicians just pushing out absurd Twitter-based policy. We cannot function this way. Look how stupid these people are. Step up. Step up. It's time for you guys, the people watching, to run for office and to vote and to challenge this. How did these people get elected? How do we have so many rhinos and dinos in the federal government? Democrats and Republicans in name only. The Democrats don't care. They're just saying whatever Twitter told them to say. So they're going, defund the police. And then when people wrote, they go, oops, maybe I should have, thought about this. On the Republican side, you get similar things, so they do very little. The problem is people just vote D, they vote R. No, it's time to step up, learn about who you're going to vote for, or run for office yourself. A lot of people are starting to do it, and they're not all staunch conservative or far left. There's regular people saying, I'm going to run. And not all of them are winning, but it's time to step up. Otherwise, what you will get are these ridiculous say anything, do anything fake politicians. They just want their name in the books. They just want the paycheck. People like Joe Biden. Nah, I'm not interested in that guy. That guy is the definition of lazy. And you know what? Bernie Sanders, too. I used to like Bernie, but he sold out. And Joe Biden, these are people who just coast along these government jobs and they do nothing. They just feign. They feign some kind of workload. Oh, I'm working so hard for you. And then nothing changes and nothing gets done. Nothing benefits the people. Nothing helps get the American people what they want. I love the meme from the progressives. Can we please just have health care? And it's like, you take any one of these meme characters saying something really dumb the Democrats say, and then there's like a sad, groggy face saying, we just want health care. Someone posted something about the war machine. We're building, 50 new destroyers or something like that. And then they just responded, can we please have health care? And it's like, yeah, they're not going to give you. Stop voting for Biden. Stop voting for these people. Now, I understand the far left doesn't want to vote for Trump. I get it, man. I get it. But don't let Biden win. Don't give the establishment control back. They'll start shoring up the defenses and you'll never see another populist victory again. Get people in who mean it at every level for either party. Because I'm sick of this. The only reason anyone ever entertained defunding the police is because stupid people went on stupid Twitter and said, look at these people on Twitter saying defund the police. I'm going to defund the police. And then there was a revolt among regular people. Vote them out. And you know what I think we need? I think we need to treat our police departments much more like we treat our sheriff's departments, and we need more accountability for our police officers. I really do mean it. That's why I'm all about police reform. I respect cops for the job they have to do. It's a crummy job. They don't get the thanks they deserve. They don't get paid very well at all, and they should. But I'm not going to sit back as cops arrest churchgoers and fine people for enjoying their constitutional freedoms, because that should not fly. You shouldn't support it. No one should. We can respect the job. We can respect the officers, but we don't have to respect it when they violate the our constitutional rights or break the law. And that includes killing people. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.